After being eliminated by the Milwaukee Bucks, Boston Celtics will have to really look at themselves in the mirror and figure out what they're going to do for the future, especially two players on the team, that of course being Terry Rozier, and more importantly because it's such a big story and there's a lot of intrigue into it, and Kyrie Irving. We know that Kyrie Irving is looking to move to a different team, whether or not he might re-sign with the Celtics, but it's more looking likely than not that he'll join another team. We of course have teams such as the New York Knicks, where he might join up with Kevin Durant. We have the Brooklyn Nets, which is the area that he's born in, that Brooklyn area, New Jersey area where he's from. And then of course you have the LA Lakers, reported by Brian Windhorst and Jackie McMullen that the Lakers and Kyrie Irving, or at least Kyrie Irving has the Lakers on his list. And this is an interesting situation because we know what people are going to think. And there's three things that we have to look at in this perspective, right? We of course have the fan perspective, we of course have the Celtic perspective, and then we have what the optics look like, which, you know, it might include that, but there's three things we have to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about is the Celtics perspective. I think it would actually be a pretty cool idea and awesome to see Kyrie Irving team up with LeBron James again in LA, because I think the storyline would be so awesome for the rivalry of the Boston Celtics and the LA Lakers. We know that rivalry hasn't been really active as much since, of course, the 2010 and 2008 finals with Kobe Bryant versus the Big Three and Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett. It also hasn't been big since, of course, you know, the Magic Bird days and also the Bill Russell and Will Chamberlain, Jerry West days. I mean, those days were the days where the Boston Celtics and the Lakers were just competing back and forth for championships, especially during that Bird Magic era. That to me was the most, I mean, obviously I wasn't born during that time, but it was really awesome to go back because I like to watch a little bit of the old stuff and just figure out, you know, how the game has changed so much from year to year. But watching that stuff, I think it's a very cool and interesting perspective to see that the Boston Celtics haven't had a big rivalry with the LA Lakers in such a long time, that I think that this would just ignite the flames, and maybe this would persuade, because it would be really cool to see if Terry Rozier would re-sign with the Celtics, Kyrie Irving going to the LA Lakers and battling it out for, you know, the Kyrie Irving situation, what happened. I think it would be a cool thing, but it's also going to be an interesting situation what that happens, because, you know, it also doesn't look good from a Kyrie Irving perspective, which is the next thing we're going to be talking about, and that's the fan perspective. From a fan perspective, I do think it's a little hypocritical for Kyrie Irving to go back to LeBron James, because we know that the whole reason why Kyrie Irving left LeBron James in the first place was because he wanted to be his own man and his own person on his own team. We talked about it numerous amount of times. Kyrie Irving wanted to be the Nightwing. If you guys don't know the Batman and Robin story, we know that Robin is the sidekick of Batman, but Robin wanted to be his own superhero at some point, and that's when he decided to become the superhero called Nightwing. At least, you know, maybe I'm telling this story wrong. I'm not really a comic guy. I'm more of a movie type of person, but I do like DC movies. You know what? It doesn't matter. The fact that, you know, people will correct me in the comment section, but nevertheless, I thought he was going to be the Nightwing, but it turns out that Kyrie Irving is more of a vigilante type of a person. He wants to beat to his own drum. He doesn't want to listen to anybody. He doesn't want to take critiques from everybody. He wants to be his own person, because the reason why that is because he wants to control the narrative of his situation. Just like Kevin Durant. Him and Kevin Durant are the same people. They are vigilantes in an NBA world full of superheroes and villains. And I think it's really cool to see that Kyrie Irving, you know, might decide what he wants to do on a whim. It's one of those things where it's like Russian roulette. You have no idea what Kyrie Irving is going to decide, but all you know is that he is not going to make it. You know, I don't think it's very calculated at points, but I do think that he does make it on a whim. So it's going to be interesting to see if, you know, guys like Kevin Durant can convince Kyrie Irving to come to New York, or whether he goes to Brooklyn. Even though, you know, they have D'Angelo Russell, I don't know about the whole situation in terms of they have one max, but if they don't sign D'Angelo Russell, they're going to have to figure out something there. But nevertheless, like I said, it's very hypocritical of Kyrie Irving to join back with LeBron James, because, like I said, Kyrie Irving created this whole mess, right? He was the one that said, I can't play with LeBron anymore. I want to be my own guy. And then, you know, realizing that and looking at everything, it's really, like I said, hypocritical for Kyrie Irving to come out and say, you know what, I want to play with LeBron James again. Because we know that Kyrie Irving as a leader did not do the right job. We know that he could be a lot better. Whether or not he is, that is the hard thing, because to me, there are only 4 or 5, potentially 5 players that could be the number one option or the number one person to take their team to an NBA Finals. And that's, of course, a guy like LeBron James, who I think still has a couple more years left. You have Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Kawhi Leonard, and Giannis. Those 5 guys are the guys that I would say can lead a team to an NBA Finals. Especially, I want to talk about the Kawhi Leonard thing, because that shot was amazing. Going into it, the fact that it hit the front iron and bounced 4 times as the crowd was just quiet looking at the ball, almost like that Kevin Hart meme where he's just kind of looking like that. Everybody's eyes and was just quiet. Everybody was just staring. It was a blank stare, almost like the White Walkers, if you guys know Game of Thrones. It was just absolutely waiting for it to drop, and then it goes in and the crowd erupts. That is something that I like to see and love to see from fans, and it was an awesome moment for Kawhi Leonard. But going back to the topic at hand with Kyrie Irving, like I said, those are the 5 guys to me you can build around, and those are going to be the guys that get you to the NBA Finals. Kyrie Irving to me is a number 2, and there's nothing wrong with being a number 2. I mean, we look at Scottie Pippen. He's a top 50 player of all time, being a number 2 to Michael Jordan. So the fact that Scottie Pippen isn't the top 50 player of all time doesn't mean that Kyrie Irving won't get his fair share of love from the fans, from the media, because Kyrie Irving is a great player. It's just the fact that you can't build around him, and it's the reason why I think it's very hard to build around point guards at times. Even though the Warriors have won 1 championship, it's just very hard because, Steph Curry does get hurt quite often, and that if you rough him up a little bit, he won't be as effective as he normally should be. His 2 MVP seasons were absolutely crazy and ridiculous, and I don't think that we're ever going to see that type of situation again. But going back to the Kyrie Irving thing, like I said, very hypocritical if he goes back to LeBron James, but you know what? I don't mind it. And going back to the last thing, and that's the optics. How does this look to the fans? How does it look to the media? That is for Kyrie Irving, and the cool thing about Kyrie Irving is that I don't think he cares. And of course, Kevin Durant doesn't care, Kyrie Irving doesn't care. They always have their beats with the media. And that's the interesting thing about Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, but more talking about Kyrie Irving in this situation. He is a guy that wants to be his own man. He doesn't care what the media has to say. He doesn't care about any of that stuff. He wants to be the guy on the team that controls his own narrative and controls his own destiny, because he wants to be the guy. He's no longer the guy that's like, you know what? It doesn't matter. He will do whatever it takes to make sure that he's on the right situation, the right team, to make sure that whatever happens, he's going to get another championship. And that's something that Kyrie Irving has to live with, especially the whole Boston Celtics situation. Because being a Boston fan, it really sucks to see that whole thing, because I think that Kyrie Irving could have done a better job, and so could have Brad Stevens, so could have a lot of people. But nevertheless, we're here in the situation now where we have to decide what is the best approach for Kyrie Irving this coming season. Is it to join Kevin Durant in New York? Is it to be on the Brooklyn Nets on his own team? Or is it to re-sign with the Boston Celtics? Or is it to reunite with an old friend in LeBron James? I want to know what that relationship is like, because we know that Kyrie Irving called LeBron and they had a whole kumbaya, bleh, I can't even talk right now, kumbaya moment. But at the same time, I don't know what it's going to be in terms of, let's see, it's the honeymoon phase again, right? You get back together with your ex. It's the honeymoon phase. You guys are in love. You guys, are doing your thing. And then all of a sudden you remember why you broke up with them. And that's something that I want to know, if Kyrie Irving is going to have that realization with LeBron James. Because we know that getting back together with your ex may seem like a great idea at first. It is not a good idea. And the reason why it's not a good idea is because someone's feelings will always get hurt, and someone will always get burned by somebody. And I think that Kyrie Irving is going to get burned by LeBron James at some point. But that is just my opinion on the whole Kyrie Irving maybe going to the LA Lakers situation. I want to know your guys' opinion on Kyrie Irving. Where is Kyrie Irving going to go this offseason? Is he going to go to New York? Is he going to go to Brooklyn and stay in the Celtics? Or will he team up with LeBron James again? I would love to know your guys' opinion, like I said, in the comment section down below. But anyway, guys, my name is Bernie, here on The Charge, giving the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. And guys, before we get out of here, I just want to say there's going to be a couple changes to the channel at some point. I'm going to announce it maybe in the next month or two. Maybe next month, because I want to change the format and perspective of it, because this channel, I want it to grow. I want it to be a big community, a basketball community, and I think some changes have to be made, but I have to do a little bit more drawing board situations, so the videos may not be as frequent, but I'll remember when big news comes out, I will be talking about it here on the channel. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Remember to hit that subscribe button. Peace.